Alright, welcome to Arcix. So that first episode of Sentenced to be a Hero was absolutely amazing, right? But what if I told you it left out some of the most crucial, game-changing details from the source material? Well, today we're going to dig into all that awesome world building and those key plot points that got left on the cutting room floor. Look, the anime's premiere was a total spectacle, no doubt about it. But, to cram everything into one episode, they had to streamline a ton of the lore. They even changed the timing of some really key events. So let's dive right in and see what you might have missed. Okay, first up, let's talk about what it actually means to get sentenced as a hero. The anime tells us it's a fate worse than death, and yeah, that's true, but the novel really drives home just how horrifying it is. So you might be wondering, is there any way out? Well, technically yes, but the source material makes it crystal clear that this path to freedom is basically a cruel joke. To get amnesty, a hero has to kill every single demon lord. It's a completely impossible task. I mean, that's why these guys are expected to fight for 100 years, maybe even more. And what happens if they die? Oh ho ho. That's where it gets even darker. That's where this thing called Perpetual resurrection comes in. And believe me, this process is not clean. The book describes it as literally dragging a hero's soul out of hell and just shoving it back into their flesh. And whether or not this grim procedure even works, it all depends on how messed up the body is. And this just lays out the whole horrific cycle step by step. A hero dies on a mission. Their spirit gets yanked back from hell. Then they're reanimated in their broken body. And get this, if their body is too damaged, they'll just patch it up with parts from other corpses. Can you imagine? With every single revival, they lose more and more of themselves, their memories, their personality, until they're nothing more than mindless walking corpses trapped in a forever war. Okay, so let's zoom in on the heroes themselves. The criminals of Penal Unit 9004. The anime gives us a quick introduction, sure, but the novels, they give us a much clearer picture of who these people were before they became heroes. Take Dota, for example. In the anime, he kinda just seems like the scaredy cat sidekick, right? Well, in reality, he's a legendary thief who was convicted of treason. We're talking over 1,000 burglaries. This is the guy who once stole the royal family's dragon. A feat so insane that the dragon literally bit his arm off. He's a true kleptomaniac. If it exists, he wants to steal it. And then you've got their commander, Benet. This guy has absolutely zero fighting ability. None. But he is a flat-out genius con artist. How much of a genius, you ask? He once convinced the royal family to almost sell their own castle to a traveling circus. I'm not kidding. The man lies as naturally as he breathes. In fact, that's exactly how he managed to negotiate their suicide mission from go kill the demon lord all the way down to just help the knights retreat. So that begs the question, right? Why are these super skilled criminals being forced to fight this war in the first place? The anime definitely hints that there's a long war going on, but man, the novel lays out the grim, desperate state of this dying world in way more detail. See, this isn't humanity's first rodeo with the demon blight, not by a long shot. They've been fighting this war for ages, but here's the thing. There was a 400-year period of peace, and after so long, people just started to think the blight was nothing more than a scary fairy tale. So when the Fourth War kicked off just 20 years ago, nobody was ready. They reacted way too late, and because of that complacency, they lost half of their entire habitat. So what's their ace in the hole for this war? Goddesses, like our girl Rita. But here's the crucial detail the anime kinda glosses over. They aren't actually gods. They're living, breathing biological superweapons that were created in ancient times, and they have this one very specific, very important weakness. They're incredibly proud warriors who literally need praise and approval from humans to survive. And all of this brings us to what I think is the single biggest change the anime made in episode 1. Seriously, this one change completely reframes our main character, Xairo, and it all comes down to when and why he makes that pact with Rita. Okay, so think about the anime. Shoujo makes the pact when everything seems totally hopeless, right? It's a last-ditch reactive move. But in the novel, it's the complete opposite. It's totally proactive. He sees the Holy Knights are getting wiped out, and he immediately realizes that making a pact is the only logical way to win. He's not backed into a corner at all. He's a cold, calculating leader making the smartest move on the board. And this quote from the novel just nails it down. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's fully aware that he has to trick this goddess into making a pact with a total stranger. For Xairo, it's just a necessary evil, a sacrifice he has to make to save the knights and get the job done. It's a completely cold, calculated decision from the get-go. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Because he makes his packs so much earlier in the novel, it leads to an entire epic fight sequence that was completely 100% cut from the anime. So the second that pact is formed, Xairo doesn't hesitate. He knows exactly what to do with Airish's insane power to summon any sword that's ever existed. And his first command, it's so simple but so smart. He just says, "I want a fence." And what happens next is just awesome. A second wave of those fairies swoops in to attack the already weakened knights. So what does Teary do? She makes it rain swords, creating a massive defensive fence around them. That first volley of falling swords wipes out half the attackers instantly. Then Xairo uses the swords that are stuck in the ground like remote detonated bombs, blowing up the rest of them. The few fairies that are left are so terrified they just turn and flee. The whole battle was over in seconds. Just wow. So here's the bottom line. This one seemingly small change in timing creates two completely different versions of Xairo right at the start of his journey. In the novel, he is without a doubt a proactive, strategic mastermind from page 1. The anime, on the other hand, gives us a more hesitant hero, someone who's forced to rise to the occasion only when his back's against the wall. And that leaves us with a really fascinating question to keep in mind as we watch the rest of the season, doesn't it? By making its hero more reactive and hesitant at the start, what kind of journey, what kind of story is the anime trying to tell? It's definitely something to think about. Anyway, that's all for this explainer. Thanks for watching.